Part 1. You're not weak. You're carrying too much alone. You are not weak. You're just tired. Tired of carrying things no one else can see. Of being strong when you don't feel strong. Of pushing forward while a silent weight drags behind you. Let me say it again. You are not weak. You are exhausted. From holding it all together, alone. In a world full of noise and highlight reels, no one really talks about the invisible burdens, the unspoken grief, the quiet breakdowns behind closed doors, the moments when your chest feels heavy, but you smile anyway, when your mind is loud, but your mouth says, "I'm fine." This isn't weakness. This is survival. This is what strength looks like when it's worn thin. But strength is not just pushing through. Strength is knowing when to stop, when to breathe, when to ask yourself, is this mine to carry? And that's what we'll explore today. What happens when the world calls you lazy, but you're actually overwhelmed? What happens when you're praised for being so strong, but no one sees you crumbling under the weight? This is a Stoic wake-up call, not filled with cliches, not filled with hustle quotes, but real, raw philosophy for the people who feel broken, stuck, and burdened. Let's begin with the Stoics, the misunderstood warriors of inner peace. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." But what if the distress isn't just external? What if it's internal chaos, invisible burdens, a pressure that doesn't come from others, but from within? This is where the real battle begins, because so many people today aren't battling lions. They're battling depression, loneliness, debt, a lack of meaning, a fear of letting everyone down. And they do it silently. We were not built to carry everything on our own. Not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually. Yet somewhere along the way, society convinced us that needing help was failure, that asking for support was weakness, that vulnerability was something to be ashamed of. But the Stoics, they never said that. In fact, Epictetus taught the opposite. He said, "One who is wise does not grieve for the things they have not, but rejoices for those which they do have." But how can you rejoice when your mind is drowning, when you've been running on empty, pretending everything's fine? And no one ever notices, not even once. You begin to wonder if you're invisible. You begin to believe that maybe you're just not enough, that you're failing where others are thriving. But that's a lie, a dangerous one, a lie whispered by exhaustion and amplified by comparison. You see other people with filtered lives, polished smiles, and curated success, and you think, why can't I be like them? But here's the Stoic truth. Comparison is a trap, a thief of gratitude, a destroyer of peace. Seneca once warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." So much of our misery is rooted in believing we are behind in life, behind in success, behind in happiness. But life isn't a race, it's not a scoreboard. It's a journey inward. And if you're carrying too much, it's no wonder you feel behind. You're climbing a mountain with weights on your shoulders, while others are running downhill. No wonder you're tired. But again, That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're overwhelmed. It means you've been too strong for too long, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop, to rest, to reflect. You don't need to prove your worth by enduring more than you can handle. You don't need to suffer in silence to earn validation. Your pain is real, even if no one else sees it. Even if you hide it behind smiles, jokes, or productivity. We all carry things. Grief that has no name, dreams that never became reality, responsibilities we didn't ask for, wounds from people who should have protected us. And yet we go on, not because we are weak, but because even in our pain, we choose to show up. That is power. But even power needs rest. Even warriors need moments of stillness. And even the strongest minds can break when isolated. Marcus Aurelius led armies, governed an empire, yet his personal writings reveal a man filled with self-doubt, fatigue, and inner turmoil. He once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." But how many of us wake up feeling dread instead of gratitude? How many of us wake up carrying yesterday's weight before we've even stood up from bed? You are not weak for feeling that way. You are human, and the fact that you keep going, even when it hurts, even when it's heavy, even when no one claps for you, is evidence of quiet resilience. Still, no one was meant to carry this life alone. The Stoics believed in reason, logic, and discipline, yes, but they also believed in community. They gathered, they taught, they mentored one another. Today, we hide behind screens. We celebrate lone wolves. We say, "I'm fine," while dying inside. But true strength is not isolation. True strength is having the courage to say, "I need help. I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to do this alone anymore." You are not a burden. You are not too much. You are someone who's been carrying more than they should for far too long. So what do you do when the world keeps moving but you feel stuck? When everyone else seems fine, but you're breaking quietly, you return to the present, to now, to the only moment that exists. Not yesterday's regrets, not tomorrow's fears, just now. The Stoics knew this. They taught that peace is found not in changing the world, but in changing how you relate to it. Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." That means the weight you carry isn't always the event. It's your perception of it, your guilt, your shame, your belief that you should be stronger, faster, better, happier. But what if you dropped that belief? What if you allowed yourself to simply be human? You're not a machine. You're not a brand. You're not a constant stream of output and productivity. You are allowed to rest, to cry, to feel, to sit down and say, "This is heavy, and I don't want to pretend anymore." Somewhere, you learn to hide your pain, to keep it tucked beneath your achievements, to bury it under tasks, to-do lists, and distractions. But pain unspoken still speaks. It speaks through burnout, through anxiety, through that ache in your chest when you're alone in silence. You are not alone in this. There are thousands, maybe millions, feeling exactly what you feel, even if they never say it, even if they look successful, even if their life looks perfect from the outside. This world is loud, but your pain is not noise. It's a signal that it's time to stop pretending, a signal that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, that it's okay to say no, that it's okay to ask for help. You've carried enough. Now it's time to put some of it down. What does it actually mean to put it down? It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean walking away from everything. It means choosing what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't. It means releasing the expectations you never agreed to, the roles you were forced to play, the weight of being everything to everyone. You were never meant to carry it all. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And it's true. We replay mistakes in our heads like broken records. We fear outcomes that never come. We carry guilt for things long gone. But the past cannot be carried forward. It can only be learned from, then left behind. So many people today are stuck in a loop. Wake up, survive the day, collapse, repeat. This is not living. This is endurance without direction, discipline without rest. It's a slow erosion of the soul. But here's the good news. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to have a 5-year plan. You don't need to know what comes next. You just need to breathe, to be here, to stop judging yourself for not having it all together. The Stoics didn't chase perfection. They chased presence. They taught that virtue is found in how you respond to each moment, not in how you perform to the world. That means when you're hurting and you still choose kindness, you are practicing stoicism. When you're tired, but you pause to reflect rather than react, you are mastering your mind. Even in your struggle, you are becoming something greater. You are building quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that holds you together when everything around you is falling apart. And sometimes, strength looks like stepping back, turning off the noise, letting yourself cry, letting yourself be human. You've done enough pretending. You've carried enough weight. You are allowed to soften without breaking. Think of the strongest things in nature. The ocean. It crashes and rages, but it also calms and flows. The mountains. They endure storms, winds, time, yet remain still, silent, grounded. Strength is not about resistance alone. It's about resilience. It's about flexibility. It's about knowing when to stand firm and when to surrender. Most people think surrender means quitting. But in Stoic thought, surrender means acceptance. Acceptance of what is, without judgment. Acceptance of your humanity, your limits, your seasons, your capacity. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So ask yourself, where is your mind right now? Is it drowning in worries about tomorrow? Is it carrying pain from 5 years ago? Is it haunted by the fear of what people think? Bring it back to here, to now. to your breath. You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to be present with yourself. You just have to say, I'm doing the best I can, and mean it, because you are. Even if it doesn't feel like enough, even if no one says it to you, you are showing up. You are still breathing. You are still trying. That matters. You're not weak for needing rest. You're not broken for needing space. You're not failing because you can't keep carrying everything. You're healing. And healing is not always graceful. It's messy. It's confusing. It's full of stops and starts. And that's okay. What matters is that you don't give up on yourself. You don't owe the world constant performance. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe perfection to people who can't see your pain. You owe yourself compassion. You owe yourself truth. You owe yourself the permission to be human. So here we are, at the end of this message, but maybe the beginning of something deeper for you. A moment of clarity, a small breath of peace, a reminder that you were never meant to do this alone. Let go of the idea that strength means silence. Let go of the pressure to be invincible. Let go of the belief that rest is weakness. Strength is quiet. Strength is soft. Strength is sometimes saying, I can't do this right now, and meaning it with love. The Stoics were not emotionless. They were deeply reflective. They felt pain, loss, heartbreak, fatigue, but they didn't let it own them. They practiced awareness. They trained their minds to respond instead of react. And they understood the value of enduring what must be endured and letting go of what need not be carried. Right now, you are doing the work just by listening, just by sitting in this moment with yourself, just by being honest enough to admit, I'm carrying too much. That awareness is power. That honesty is strength. That vulnerability is the beginning of transformation. You don't have to conquer the world today. You just have to lighten your load, even a little, even for a moment. Breathe. Release. Repeat. Let this be your reminder. You are not weak. You're just carrying too much, alone. And you don't have to anymore. Choose peace over perfection, presence over performance, truth over pretending. And if no one else tells you this today, I will. You're doing enough. You are enough. And you are not alone.